Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is 3.4.
What's going on, world? How are you? Welcome back to channel 3.4. This is another episode of Music Felt by me and Dave Speaks, I guess. I don't know. This might even have to be like its own playlist. Luesta is just pumping out videos, and I've been really interested in all of them. I've got, I think, one or two in the stash already recorded. So, yeah, we may have to just do like a Dave Speaks Sunday or something, and like a Luesta Wednesday, where Dave Speaks Sundays may just be me doing commentary videos that isn't necessarily Luesta. I don't know. We'll have to see. But shout out to Luesta. Great job with these. So let's get right into it. This is how Drake destroyed his Ghostwriter's life. Interesting. I'm interested to see what this is about. So obviously Quinton Miller. But
in 2015, during the feud between Drake and Meek Mill, a rapper named Quinton Miller was exposed to be Drake's ghostwriter. And while being outed as the man who wrote lyrics for a rapper who is as braggadocious, territorial, and petty as the Six God can lead to some unwanted attention, you would think that simply being affiliated with Drake's team would at least lead to a better lifestyle or some level of financial freedom. However, the drama that ensued afterwards led to one of the most dramatic downfalls and is a story that many hip-hop purists rarely discuss. After he was exposed, Quinton Miller reached the lowest point in his life, instead of flourishing to his higher purpose as Drake might have hoped. My name is Luesta, and this is how Drake ruined his ghostwriter's life. Born on October 10th, 1980.
A great animation right there. A really, really good animation.
And this is how Drake ruined his ghostwriter's life.
With kind of like the blinking eyes of Drake there. That's interesting. And what do we got here? No new friend. Started from the bottom. First name ever, last name greatest. Or last name, yeah, Jesus. Last name ever, first name greatest. Be the best I ever had, yeah.
Life. Born on October 10th, 1989 in Atlanta, Georgia, Quinton Miller started writing raps in his teens while being homeschooled, going by the stage name Mila, and was good enough to eventually get his first signing with Epic Records at the age of 21. He was brought in by the artists Dream and Tricky. However, he was dropped after only 3 months because they believe he didn't have any star power, and he had to butt heads with the A&R of the company. Without a degree, securing a job seemed impossible, especially because this was 2 years after the stock market crash of 2008, and the economy was still in recovery.
Well, he's telling you he doesn't think you're a star in the middle of your...
Yeah, bro, in the middle of this, I'm just, can you go? So anyway, long story short, he hits Tricky.
I'm in here trying to become a star. Shut the f***
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
Help me. That sounds like when Drewski said to Kevin Hart was on Kai Sinet's stream, and there's some dude talking, and Kai Sinet's like, "Oh, you be doing the acting and shit?" And he was like, "Yeah," and he was like, I'm trying to make it." And Kevin Hart said, "Yeah, I can see it happening." And Drewski says, "Why do famous people always say stupid shit like that? Like, I can see it. He's like, "What do you mean you're up like hundreds of millions of dollars? Help me."
Yeah. So then Tricky just hits me. He's like, "Yo, you're not Red Zone. You're not Epic. You're not nothing. You going back." They sent my back. They made me wait like 3-4 weeks before I could get my car back. That was f***ed up, man. Y'all don't know. I was young, man. That hurt, man. That hurt.
Things weren't
Get my car back. That's crazy.
looking too good for Miller, and with his daughter on the way, he had to find a way to make ends meet. Eventually, he ended up finding a job at Publix in Atlanta and was able to at least feed his family in the meantime. However, Quinton really hated his job and was still putting work into his music on the side to see if he could get anything going. And that's when he got in contact with Drake's affiliates, Boy Wonder and Obi Bryan, who both liked his pen game. They would send him a few beats, he would lay down some bars for them, but everything changed when he sent in 10 bands.
Wonder was like, yo, he's with this 10 band song.
Now see, I wasn't really all that tapped in at this point. I knew Quinton Miller wrote records for Drake. And I know Meek Mill is the one that kind of like really started firing that information out there. But I wasn't really paying attention to the details of the story that much because it kind of was just like, okay then, like it just made me feel how I felt about Drake. Like, okay, he's cool, but he's like, he's not in the same category as a lot of guys. So, yeah, I didn't know specifically 10 bands. It was a record, and that may be like a really cold take by me because Or a hot, I guess, hot take because I didn't know it was 10 bands. That's crazy. That's crazy.
He sent in 10 bands.
The wonder was like, yo, he's with this 10 band song.
I never knew what records, actually. To be specific, I never knew what records.
He sent in 10 bands.
The wonder was like, yo, he's with this 10 band song. He's with this hard. So yeah, I was really excited. I thought I was gonna have a Drake feature, because at the time Drake was just doing random features for just up and coming artists.
Drake is fucking with 10 bands, man. He's going crazy over it. I'm like, oh shit. I sent 10 bands to a couple of my friends. Now, I didn't know what a reference track was at this time.
And at that point, you were just making a record.
I was just making songs.
Yes.
And plus, when he said it, I'm thinking Drake's gonna get on it. So I'm like, I'm not leaking, you know what I'm saying? Like, and then later I was sent a clip and it was Drake saying it. And I was like, oh, all right, well, hey.
Yeah.
Whatever.
And
Quinton didn't expect Drake to actually rap the song, but he was thrilled to work with such a major artist. He even proudly represented OVO back in his home of Atlanta. He's getting flown out, having writing sessions, and begins to work with Drake to produce his 4th mixtape, If You're Reading This It's Too Late. And as we all know, when it came out, Drake was getting praised for making the best rap songs that year. But what they didn't know was that they were actually praising a young guy from Atlanta.
So you get in the studio with Drake and you end up
Fucking Vlad.
basically co-writing what became Used To, 10 Bands, Legend, and 6 Man.
Yeah. I also wrote on Bless. Too. That was when I first met Big Sean during that session. I felt like I was, a part of the shit. Like, Drake literally was looking me in my face like, yo, man, this album wouldn't be possible if it weren't for you. Like, you really helped. You have no idea. Like, you saying this to a dude that was working in the bakery, you know what I'm saying? Like, I thought my dream was over with after Tricky and them dropped me off, like, I was crying like a baby, because I'm like, how the fuck else am I gonna do this? They were the people that I knew, and I didn't have nobody else, so it just felt like it was just one of the best times, Yeah, it felt like I was on the team.
However,
Interesting. So he wrote like 5 or 6 records, or wrote on 5 or 6 records. May have not wrote them entirely, but damn.
However, things would take a
4 or 5 records on a 17 track album.
drastic turn for Miller and Drake fans after Meek Mill came into the picture. After teaming up with Drake on Rico for his 2015 album Dreams Worth More Than Money, Meek Mill would put out a tweet alleging that Drake has a ghostwriter, saying, "Stop comparing me to Drake too, he don't write his raps. That's why he ain't tweet about my album because we found out. Other artists know though, Lil Wayne and Nicki know, ask them. They gon' act like they don't see them tweets." Meek was mad that Drake wasn't helping to promote his album, and people were saying that the line, "the girl of your dreams to..."
Yo, is Nicki with Meek at this exact moment? That's a weird thing to be like, ask Wayne and Nicki. They gonna act like as if that's not like your partner.
And that Drake wasn't helping to promote his album. And people were saying that the line, "the girl of your dreams to me is probably not a challenge in Rico," is a diss to Meek Mill because Drake has been very close to Nicki Minaj, who was dating Meek at the time. This was a pretty crazy revelation back then, since ghostwriting wasn't as popularized as it is today. It was mind-blowing for fans to find out that one of the top artists in the game didn't write all their music. And this was a different case from that of a Dr. Dre or Kanye West, who are also known to use ghostwriters on their songs, as they are more so producers and curators than they are as rappers. In a short while, the name Quinton Miller kept popping up, and eventually, a reference track for the song 10 Bands was leaked, shocking everyone even more because the song was very popular among the fans of If You're Reading This Is Too Late, and Drake had received a lot of praise for the writing on it. The whole ghostwriter conversation was steaming hot with Drake and Quinton.
Yeah, I mean, that is tough because If You're Reading This Is Too Late, it's like widely known as Drake's best rapping album. Damn. So Drake, I mean, this is not news, right? This is not news, but it's just, damn, man. It just feels like, even though this is old information, just having it rehashed at this point just makes it feel like he's so out of here. Like, I just don't know. I don't know what he does next now. I don't know.
at the center of it all. Drake's producer and longtime friend OVO40 put out a series of tweets defending Drake, saying, "There's countless number ones and songs Drake has written for others, never mind himself." That's the funny part. So if someone wants to be upset that Drake made a great album, go for it. Get mad all day, LOL. But don't ever question my brother's pen. I've spent maybe 30 minutes in a studio with Q, nice enough guy, very talented. If you're asking if Q contributed to If You're Reading This, yes, he did. You can also see that by reading the credits.
Yeah, I feel like I know where he's going to go here. If he's a credited writer, then shame on us. Not on Drake. If he's crediting him, then, you know, but here's the thing though too about like when you look at the credits, it's really oversaturated sometimes where if someone, you know, if you're sampling something and fucking you're sampling like a guitar riff, you have to name the person that came up with the guitar riff in the writing credits too, depending on how the terms are. Like you may not have to writing credit, it could just be like publishing or whatever, but yeah, if you look at like a lot of writing credits, you'll see a lot of names there, but it doesn't mean they actually wrote lyrics for the song. They could have written part of the music, the instrumentation. So it does get a little muddy, but if he was credited, shit, at least I'll give Drake that he didn't hide it. You know?
If you're reading this, yes, he did. You can also see that by reading the credits, which is a point a lot of people seem to forget when saying an artist uses ghostwriters. When a writer contributes to a project, their name is usually slipped into the credits, therefore, they aren't ghostwriting by definition. However, no one actually checks the credits for every single project to police who had help and who didn't, which is why this case was blown way out of proportion.
But that, I mean, that's, if we're gonna judge people by it, then it is an important metric.
By Meek Mill. To make matters worse for Quinton Miller, he was now getting clowned online for
like just because no one does it doesn't mean that it wouldn't be beneficial if you're going to pass judgment about people's writing ability or whatever, whether they write their raps or not.
Proportion by Meek Mill. To make matters worse for Quinton Miller, he was now getting clowned online for some of the lyrics he wrote with people, saying that he ain't got the looks or money to be spitting lines like, "The girl of your dreams to me is probably not a challenge." But Quinton would also put out a statement explaining his side of the situation, as well as downplaying the work he did on the album, saying, "Most of the project was done before I came into the picture. I remember him playing it for me for the first time thinking, why am I here? Like, what does he need me for? I am not and never will be a ghostwriter for Drake. I'm proud to say that we have collaborated, but I can never take credit for anything other than a few songs we worked on together." However, this would turn to be a big mistake because in trying to defend Drake, he would piss off Meek Mill.
They caught me, we was walking, we was in L.
Who fucking cares? That's crazy. If he's telling the truth and said, "Look, yeah, I helped him with a few songs. I'm not trying to take credit for ghostwriting his album or anything like that. I helped him with a few records." And if Drake was like trying to like keep him around or like being loyal, or if he was trying to keep himself around Drake, it makes sense. But the truth, if it's the truth, like I'm not saying go lie on it just for the sake of Drake and some, you know, whatever, but like if he's telling the truth, who cares if Meek Mill? We'll see what this
together.
is about.
However, this would turn to be a big mistake because in trying to defend Drake, he would piss off Meek Mill.
They caught me, we was walking, we was in LA, I was walking to the Nike store and he approached me, and this was really my first time really talking with Meek, and basically told me like, you know, he didn't appreciate the letter that I dropped and it made him seem like he was a liar or whatnot, and they...
Because you kind of were. Like, if you're saying he's a ghostwriter, and he's a credited writer, like, I understand there's, like, you know, I don't want to get caught up in the semantics of that. But for Quinton Miller to come out and say, no, I'm not a ghostwriter. I wrote for the few records that you see my name on, and those ones, sure, I'll take credit for, but the other ones, no, I don't want credit for those records. They aren't mine. Like, Drake had them done already.
Like, he was a liar or whatnot, and they... stole off on me in the Nike store and ran. I shed blood in the Nike store on Wilshire. They tried to get me in front of paparazzi at first. Like we kind of caught each other. I was getting out the Uber and we kind of caught each other. And then he sent his man. He was like, "Yo, come come over here, Meek wants to talk to you. And I was just like, I don't want to go in front of paparazzi. Like, I don't want to do that. So like, you know, they just followed me in the Nike store, yeah. And just popped off in the Nike store.
From what we know,
That's fucked up, man. That's so much ego, man. That's crazy. That's crazy. You try to expose Drake. The person that you're using as the weapon in your exposure of Drake comes out and says, it's really not as bad as you made it sound. Here's the truth of the matter. Clears his name. And the person he's been working with. And you want to beat me up? Like, you should just mind your fucking business in the first place. Like, that's crazy. That's crazy. What a piece of shit move. That's fucked up. This guy gets fucking jumped or beat up or whatever and robbed because he told the truth. Yeah, that's fucked up, man.
Oh, now, Meek was
That's
allegedly
crazy.
instigated by Nicki Minaj, who felt like her man was being disrespected.
That's a crazy that's a crazy take to be like, oh, you're being disrespected by someone coming out and clearing his name. That's nuts. He never said like Meek's a fucking liar. Meek. He never even mentioned Meek, at least in the quote that was read here. There may be more context to it that isn't displayed here, but
Respected. So not only
That's
did he get
crazy.
abused online, he gets beat up by Meek's goons. And to make matters worse, Drake basically cuts him off after the entire incident. Quinton was really disappointed in the silence from Drake's camp
Damn.
because he went to bat for them and they still hung him out to dry. But he took
this guy, that's crazy. That's crazy. You literally stole his record. You stole 10 bands. He sent it to you not with the intentions of it being a reference track. He sticks his neck out there to say, hey, I didn't write the entire album. There's a little bit of a misdirection going on here. Here's the truth. I wrote a few songs. I'm not taking credit for the other ones. Then gets beat up and robbed at the Nike store by Meek Mill and his goons, according to him. And then you just hang him out to dry. Stop talking to him. That's crazy. What? Oh my god. This poor dude, man.
took solace in the fact that he was well known for being a part of hit songs and believed that things would look up for him very soon. However, what he saw before him was more disappointment, making Quinton believe the industry had blackballed him.
Man, I'm thinking like the phone is just about to just ring off the hook. I'm thinking, you know, anytime anybody's involved with one song with this guy, it's like everything, you know, and it's just like, it just wasn't like that. It's just like, it just didn't happen. It was strange.
To add insult to injury, Drake and Meek Mill would end up clearing their differences, reuniting in 2018 for Meek's Championships project. But Quinton's situation was somewhat expected because he outright told labels not to reach out to him.
I'm not a writer, and that's like the interesting thing. And to all industry people out there and labels out there, like, please, I want y'all to know that I am not a writer. Don't invite me to your writers camps. Like, that was a special situation that just happened to happen. It was an opportunity, and you know, we just happened to be on the same wave.
You see, Quinton suffers from the same problem that hinders artists with stronger pens in the industry. Just like Partisan Fontaine, who wasn't happy when Kanye exposed him as a ghostwriter, Quinton didn't want his writing to overshadow his music. From the label's perspective, people like Quinton are more valuable in the background for their already established artists, and are therefore less likely to
See, I didn't realize that Kanye exposed the Partisan Fontaine thing. That's crazy. Of his own song. That's crazy. That's wild. So he was giving credit to Partisan Fontaine for writing his record. But Partisan Fontaine's like, I don't want anything to do with this. That's crazy.
Quinton didn't want his writing to overshadow his music. From the label's perspective, people like Quinton are more valuable in the background for their already established artists, and are therefore less likely to receive opportunities since they could just keep boosting an already marketable artist. On the 5-year anniversary of the release of the If You're Reading This Is Too Late album, Quinton will put out a video expressing his dissatisfaction for how things happened with his career.
That Drake and Meek is best friends now. They watch basketball games and they do shows together, you know? So it's just like, what was that even for? What was all of that for? You know, like all the stress that it caused, you know? And I know everybody else is able to move on because everybody else's careers was established. My career wasn't established. To the music game, labels, artists, whoever, take a chance on me. Take a chance on Quinton Miller, man. Y'all know I do these records. Y'all know I got these records. I could do this in my sleep. Take a chance on me, man. Everybody want to kick me to the curb, man. Everybody want me to just play the background, and they just want to just give me ideas for this person, give me ideas for that person, man. Give me the opportunity, man. Give me the ball, man. I see a lot of artists out here that I know for a fact I can box with, man. I can box with all these, man.
With more and more time passing and with bills to pay, Quinton would continue lending his pen to other artists, and it was even revealed that one of the main reasons Meek Mill opened this can of worms in the first place was because Quinton had refused to write for him on multiple occasions.
It was like maybe after the third time, then I told Drake about it, and I was like, man, it's kind of weird, man. Like he's just pressing it so hard, but I'm like turning it down, bro. Like I'm not trying to work with bro. I'm trying to work with you. And so he was like, yeah, that is weird. And then Meek was tweeting stuff before he tweeted my name. He was tweeting like little sub stuff, and me and Drake were like screenshotting and sending it to each other like, yo, you think he's talking about this? Yo, you think he's talking about this? And then next thing you know, he puts it all out there, and that just changed everything.
This shows Meek's entire statement about not tricking his fans being absolutely bullshit. Pretending to be this shining...
I never liked Meek. There's something about him, but man, this is crazy. This is about how Drake destroyed his Ghostwriters' life. This is actually like... this is on some like Meek is the villain type shit. Like, that's crazy. You know, beat that man up just because he said, no, I didn't. When he didn't. That's crazy.
Shining light of rap purity in public, but only exposing the operation when they don't let you in, is straight diabolical behavior. Not to mention hypocritical. It reminds you of a kid who takes the ball home once they start losing. Although Drake doesn't leave the situation either without any blame. Quinton turned down Meek Mill multiple times, downplayed his involvement in writing Drake songs, got beat up, and got publicly humiliated, all because he wanted to be loyal to Drake. The least that Drake could do was keep working with him, since most of his fans didn't care if Drake used ghostwriters.
Maybe just because I was just a writer, or, you know, I don't know. It was just like, I just didn't matter. Just like, this guy, you know, even with drama and them, you know, like just kind of just throwing my whole life, you know, on the back burner, just like, you know, whatever, just to get at a nigga, you know, like, but what about me? What about me taking care of my family? And, you know, the fact that I put my whole life into this shit, I don't have no other skills. I ain't go to college, you know, like, I make music. That's my skill.
What's even crazier is,
and I mean, to be fair, that's not Drake's responsibility, but you think you would try to, like, I don't know, look out for him like he tried to look out for you, I guess. I don't know.
Is that he only made $30,000 for all the songs he wrote for Drake's mixtape. Now, that isn't all really Drake's fault. Yes, he should have been paid more, but remember in the beginning when I said Quinton got dropped from Epic Records back when he was 21? Well, it turns out they dropped him but kept his publishing, meaning they basically took all of his royalty money for years, until 2019, when he finally managed to leave the deal. Quinton's life after writing for Drake can be described as getting dealt a bad hand over and over again. From losing his leg in an accident in 2016 to almost getting scammed by Big Sean in 2022.
I'm like, God damn, this poor fella, man. That's crazy.
Hey, man, it's a full circle moment, bro. He's like, yeah, bro, this is full circle. So I'm really like looking up to it. And then maybe like 2 weeks, a week before the album drops, he's just not responding to me at all. Then like a week before, I'm in the studio with Hit Boy. I just randomly hear in a conversation with Hit, yeah, the album drop next week. I'm like, wait, what? I didn't even know. So then I start hitting him, and then I'm getting text from his manager. Now I'm only talking to his manager. I'm like, well, what happened? So I'm talking to the manager, then the come out. We still ain't signed the paperwork or nothing. My name was not on the credits. It was not on the credits for like the first 3 months. So I'm blowing them up. I'm like, yo, what's up, man? Because I didn't know we was doing the ghostwriter thing, because if that was the case.
Damn, so Big Sean, too, is employed Quinton Miller, but I guess not paid him or not credited him. I mean, again, I think I would need to know the circumstances. Like, was it all verse? Was it all song? Was it a chorus? You know what I mean? But That's crazy.
Didn't know we was doing the ghostwriter thing, because if that was the case, I would have asked for some cash. And they're just like, nah, man, nah, it's just until we get all the paperwork, we can't get the credits. We can't get everybody's name on the credits. But I'm like, but everybody else's name is on there.
Despite now seeming to accept his role as a writer in the industry, he faces controversy every time he tried to promote his work.
I've been still writing for people ever since. You know, I done worked with Nas, Big Sean, Jeezy, Ty Dolla $ign, but like a bunch of other people. You know,
Ty Dolla $ign, G-Eazy makes sense to me. Nas?
I never really wanted to be a writer, and you know, it's an interesting sport. You know, I think I have more of a passion to just be creative.
After this interview came out, some fans began to discredit Nas's entire catalog, while others were once again clowning Quinton for daring to mention that he worked with Nas, since he's generally revered for having one of the greatest.
Yeah, that's me. I just, you know, show of hands, who just had a had a flash across your brain, like, damn, Nas been having writers. That was definitely me.
Pens in hip-hop history. Nas's team had to reach out to Quinton, forcing him to clear things up, while also explaining his perspective.
I also mentioned other artists that I worked with, from Jeezy to Jeremiah to Ty Dolla $ign. I mentioned other artists. Writers post their work and talk about their work all the time. You know why? It also helps with the business of writing. When people know that you are part of certain things, it makes people more prone to work with you. It's kind of part of the job. Naming your resume or your catalog or whatever, it kind of goes with it. But it's not that way with me, because I just so happen to have had a situation with the biggest artist in the world, and it turned into a whole fucking ghostwriting scandal. And now I am the ghost. Now, anytime people work with me, it's like I'm supposed to be a ghost. But I'm not a fucking ghost. You don't make money being a ghost. They don't pay you. Artists don't give a f if you have money or not. They do not pay you. So if you don't get paid from being a part of this to get opportunities to get paid, why would I want to be a fucking ghost? If you work with Quinton Miller, you worked with Quinton Miller. And you better be okay with saying that you work with Quinton Miller.
Yeah,
now, when it comes to the Nas situation, I pulled up on Hit Boy. That was a situation with Hit Boy. I'm in the room, I bounce some ideas out. There we go. Clear it up. I just bounced some ideas, couple ideas went. That's all that happened with the Nas. But I am not a fucking ghost. I am not a ghost.
Again, being forced to downplay his involvement.
You know, if you say, hey, I had this idea for a record, you know, you could try to say it like this, say it like that, blah, blah, whatever. That's different. That's different than sitting there scribing whole verses and stuff. If that's true, if he's not just backing off it because it's Nas and Hit Boy asked him to, then I don't really care about that. But yeah, if he was sitting there writing verses for Nas, that's
just like the Drake situation. Nowadays, Quinton Miller is still trying to make strides in the industry despite being hurt so many times. In fact, he recently popped up on Kanye's well-received Vultures album as a writer and had been spotted with his crew in the months leading up to its release.
Kind of a weird way to end it. Like, there wasn't much of a sign-off there. But yeah, really, really good. God damn, Meek Mill, huh? And Drake. That's crazy. That's crazy. They both did that guy wrong, but Drake did him wrong from a loyalty aspect. Meek did him wrong because it just seems like he's just kind of a piece of shit, I think. That's just kind of what I think. I don't know. He's not likable. You know, I think he is absolutely a victim of a broken judicial system for sure. But aside from that, from as far as rappers go and rap wise, definitely overrated and not likable. Not likable. That's crazy. That's crazy to do that. That's nuts. Yeah, that's gonna do it for me. Shout out Luesta. Be safe, be real. Don't forget to pursue your own happiness, and I'll catch y'all on the next one.
Thank you to Patreon and YouTube members Afrado, Joseph Green, Jeremy Visser, Clay Hopkins,